There it is. Yeah, we got it. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Yeah. 2 2 3 3. Well, I'm watching it on the LED and it's hitting the bottom of the red, so I just did a 2 2 and a 3 3. That's all I've said. No, it's not. No, it's not maxed out. Well, I mean, on the LEDs it is. When I look at the when I look at the sound monitor on the ATEM, it's yeah. Check 2. Are you here? Are you hearing it at all, Tree? It's coming off of here. That's what I'm looking at. Are we gonna see it on the laptop? 2 2. Check check.
Maxed out now.
2 2. Check check. We'll put headphones on and play with it.
They're not on yet.
The cameras are off right now for
Trying to save battery.
yeah.
Cameras. The remote one is got it shut off.
Two, 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 two. Two, 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 two. Two, 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 two. Two, 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 two.
I need to figure out how to get this volume down here.
Two, 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 two. Hey, 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 hey.
Hey, do I need to get Paul a headset?
Yeah. I'm gonna walk on it. Then he's gonna talk after. Hey, good. Hello. Oh, turn it up a little bit. Turn it up just a little bit. Good evening. Can you hear me? There we go. I want to make sure this microphone works for Keara. She's a walker. Plenty of cord space here. Welcome to American Legion Post 370. Thank you all for coming out for another Friends in Service of Heroes speaker series. We've got another great featured speaker. Paul is going to introduce her in just a minute. Let's go ahead and start off with our prayer and Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, let's go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to have a little prayer. Let's pray. Father God, we're here, and a lot of us have a lot of things going on in our lives, and sometimes we have to quiet our hearts and our minds because of the things that are happening. But Father, you still sit on the throne, and you are still sovereign in the affairs of men. And we just ask for whatever needs that are out there, God, and for the change that has happened in the world recently because of the withdrawal out of Afghanistan, that you would show your strength in our lives at this post, even now. And we just pray for the speaker. Help us have a good time, and we'll talk to you again real soon. In Jesus' name, amen.
Before I get started, I just want to first say thank you to Barb Knopke with the Daughters of the American Revolution. Her father was a veteran, of course. He was also a commander at an American Legion post up in New York State. And this was one of his bells that he used as commander. I guess she could have sold this on eBay, but she decided to donate it to this post. So thank you very much, Barb. We will treasure this. Thank you very much. Just real quick, and I'm going to turn it over to Paul in a second here. If you'd like to follow us for any of the upcoming events for FISH or the American Legion, great places to go. We post everything up there. We got a lot of upcoming events here at Post 370, very active post. If you're interested in joining this post, as a matter of fact, talk to me or grab one of the officers in the crowd. We would be glad to help you out. We got a huge event here on Saturday night right here in this room, the Little Big Band. If you like big band music, like Count Basie, that kind of stuff, it's going to be right here. Just dinner, dance. It's going to be awesome. We've got live music every Saturday night here. Also, the same night, on the other side of the room, we got Melissa and Company, for an example. Breakfast, we serve breakfast here every fourth Sunday. This Sunday is the fourth Sunday. If you're interested, all you can eat, cook-to-order breakfast, only $10. Can't find that deal anywhere. And you're going to have live piano music, too. So, we got Texas Hold'em every Monday and Wednesday night. We got bingo Wednesdays and Fridays. And we've got a coffee time. Veterans and their friends come in for coffee on Wednesday morning. Free. There's donuts, camaraderie. It's a great time. Hope to see you. And for some reason... Oh, I'm going to turn it over to Paul now. He's going to talk about some upcoming FISH events.
Thanks, Dan. Welcome, everyone. If this is your first time, can I see a show of hands? First time here? Glad you're all here. Glad you're here, Colton. All right, so, guys, if I could ask you to put your gaze on this young man right up front here. I'm going to pick on him for just a second. I don't usually pick on people, but as you guys know, every year we do a hog hunt. And everything about FISH is unlike anything you've ever been a part of. FISH is very different, right? We do things differently. We call it going fishing. The vets that we serve never see us coming. We want to help those vets that will never ask for help. And that's where you guys come in. You become our hands and feet, our eyes and ears to help us find them. Well, Colton, Air Force veteran, is part of the FISH family. Very unique young man. He likes to go hunting. Anybody here like to hunt? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Wait. Thomas, you need to get your name in this list because we have another hog hunt coming up in January. This isn't your typical hog hunt. What do you think you would hunt a hog with? A bow? What? You guys have heard this before. On this hog hunt, there's no bows allowed. There's no rifles allowed. It's up close and personal because it's about teamwork. It's about being a unit again. And, you know, you've got the dogs and everything else. It's nice and safe unless you're Tree. And Tree's not here, but Tree's probably watching. Tree's a Navy corpsman. And I guess on the way down to Arkansas, he was figuring out the anatomy of the hog, right? Yep. These guys are just yelling at him, stick it, because he was about to get stuck himself. So here next month, we're going to start taking those names again. They'll go in the helmet. We'll pull out a name. 5 of you get to go. We already have one guy that's going. Dan, you're going because you weren't able to attend last year, so you want to get your name in there. So last week's been pretty crazy. Last week was just crazy. We were so busy. Tree and I were invited to an event with a Lieutenant General, Jody Daniels. Jody is in charge of all the Army Reserves, period. She's the general. We were invited to attend. There was employee support for the Guard and Reserve, a couple other organizations. We're the only CVO or VSO that was there, Veteran Service Organization. And so it was really, really cool to have her, you know, basically, when I said my name is Paul, oh yeah, you're Fish, and just rattled off all these things. Armed Forces Days next year, guys, we've moved it up from May to April 23rd, so no missed weddings, no missed, you know, graduations. April 23rd, the Army is telling us they're going to open up everything for us. They're bringing everything that they can from Fort Riley. I wish Tree was here. We could talk a little bit more about what we have coming from Whiteman Air Force Base. A lot of stuff is coming from Whiteman. It's going to be unbelievable. So we hope that you're all there. Watch our Facebook post, you know, go online, look at stuff because a lot is happening. So anyway, so about a year and a half ago, we had this young lady as our speaker, and she's been a part of Fish in many ways for a while. About in 2019, she played another Fish prank on one of our members because we're down at Sporting. I told the fella that we were going to give a service dog to an Army guy, and he looked at the dog vest, and there was an Army patch on there. Little did this guy know that it wasn't going to an Army guy, it was going to a Marine. And Aaron Bono's cousin, Keara, ripped off the Army patch, slapped on a Marine Corps patch, and we surprised him on the pitch during halftime. So Keara was our speaker also, what, in 2018 maybe? So you're one of our early speakers. You are speaker number 45 in our series. So ladies and gentlemen, Keara was one of our soldiers at Fort Hood, and I'm going to let her take it from there. Please welcome Keara Torkelson to the Fish stage.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me. This is me and Aaron at Outlaw when I spoke last time, whenever that was. Oh, wait. This is me and Aaron again. I don't know what this is. Maybe my 5th birthday? I don't know. That's fun. He did have hair. All right, so I'm Keara Torkelson. Like Paul said, I'm going to find out, where he said the stage dips. We're good? Okay. I don't want any surprises. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. I'm excited to speak to you guys. I'm going to just tell my story, and as you see, I have no notes. It's my story. I don't think I can mess it up that much. So at the end, though, I'll open it up for questions. So if you have questions, you can ask me. So I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised mostly my whole life. And I joined the Army right out of high school. It was that go to Army, go to jail type of situation. So you may have heard of. I needed the discipline, so I did that, and I for sure got the discipline. I joined the Army Reserves. I went in as a 42 Alpha, which is human resources. So I really kept it fun. This is me in the office, and that one's me at basic training. Those aren't even my glasses, but they were fun. So humor is a great way to deal with trauma and deal with the crappy things that happen in our life. So you'll hear that a lot throughout my speech. And I may switch it up from something sad to something funny. It's okay to laugh. Please laugh at me. It'll make me feel better. I joined the Army. I did the reserves for a little bit. My now husband came down to watch the Royals play the Twins. He lived in Minnesota, and I was his waitress. And shortly after that, I moved up to Minnesota to be with him. And right after I moved, I was traveling back to Topeka for my Army Reserve duty every month. And I was about to switch to a unit in Minnesota when I got deployment orders to go to Iraq. So I joined my unit, and we went to training in California, and then we went to training at Fort Hood. And on our second day there, we were going to do SRP, which is it's a Soldier Readiness Processing Center, where they do all the paperwork. You get anthrax shots. I almost tangled myself up. You are taking pregnancy tests. I was waiting in a row of chairs. I'll just go there. I was in a row of chairs, and I was right at the front when I was told that I had to go down to the other building with one of my friends. I had just met her this day, and I moved, and we had to go get Jimmy Dean meals. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with those, like Vienna sausages, and it's the quality food the Army feeds you. So we're bonding over this meal, and we go back up, and this place is packed now. There's all these chairs. It's full of people. I go up to this specialist, and I'm like, hey, I was in the front. Like, what's going on? And he's like, I'm just a puppet on the strings. Go back to your seat. And at this point, I see someone behind him. It looks odd. It's suspicious. I'm a specialist, so I go sit down and mind my own business. And not too long after that, a man jumps up and shouts Allah Akbar, and he starts shooting directly into the crowd that I'm in. There's 4 rows of chairs with about 10 people in each row, and I'm in the last row. Right away, at the beginning of shots fired, I feel something on the top of my head, and I get on the ground. I grab the top of my head, and I'm bleeding. And I almost stand up, and I'm like, hey, time out. Like, your rubber bullet hit me. At this point, you don't think something like this would happen in Texas. We're waiting to go to Iraq. And I realize that it's real. And I start crawling on the ground, and I pull out my phone, my little slider phone back in 2009. And all I can think about is I want to send everyone in my phone a text that just says, I love you, because I thought I was for sure going to die. I start crawling on the ground, and I turn around and look behind me, and the shooter's behind me shooting people on the ground. I'm just waiting for him to continue raising his gun until he shoots me again. At this point, I look up, and I see another man charge the shooter with a chair. This turns out to be Captain Gaffney, and he gave his life at that point. But this gave me the opportunity to run around some cubicle walls. People kept telling me to sit down. I'm sure they were freaking out because I have blood all over my face. Head wounds bleed a lot. And I was just like, I can't sit down. I have to get out of here. Like, there's no way I'm sitting down right now. Of course, we're all unarmed because this is an Army base, and you're not allowed to have weapons. So I'm a little bit vertically challenged, and I don't look like it because I got my tall shoes on. But I couldn't see over the cubicle walls, so I had no idea where this man was going, where he was shooting from. So I grab onto the back of my sergeant's jacket, and I just keep pacing back and forth. He's watching the shooter where he's going. The shooter goes to reload because this man had many weapons, rounds of ammo. He was planning on doing a lot of damage. I saw 2 lasers on the wall while this was going on, a red one and a green one. So we run out of the front door where he started shooting from. And once I get out there, I almost just like stop and take a deep breath, and I'm like, wow, I got out of there. And everyone's like, run, what are you doing? So I run behind a car, and I grab a captain. I'm like, all right, man, we got to go. Let's keep going. And we move to a Connex. And then I see some rows of trees, and I'm like, let's run that way, which is good we didn't because it was like a softball field after 3 trees. But we end up getting into the SRP site, and the civilians had closed the door and weren't letting people in. So at this point, everyone's terrified. There's a man in uniform shooting and killing people at this Army base. And so we finally get in there. Once I'm in there, I can feel something in my back, and I take my jacket off. and another soldier pulls a bullet out of my back. It had only gone in not very far, so she really didn't have to pull hard. It came right out. And we're all just in shock. Nothing makes sense. We don't know how many shooters there are. We don't know what's going on. So I'm waiting on the sidewalk because I'm sitting upright. I look probably horrifying to people, but I'm sitting up and my wounds are pretty superficial at this point, and maybe I was in shock. I don't know, the adrenaline, but I'm sitting there waiting for an ambulance. I finally get in an ambulance, and it starts going just a little bit, and then I hear the soldier from my unit that pulled the bullet out of my back turn around and say, "Which way's the hospital?" This lady had just gotten there with our unit, and she just jumped in the front seat and was like, "I'm out of here." So she got kicked out, and I think she had to stay there. But everyone just wanted to get out of there. Someone jumped in a bus and drove it into a pole, and then just left. It was just mass chaos. And when we got to the hospital, it continued to be mass chaos. No one could anticipate this happening or even know what to do. So once I get to hospital, I sit in the hallway for a little bit, waiting for, I don't know, to be treated. And I end up getting treated in the gynecology ward. Sorry, maybe I should tell you guys that this is graphic. The next picture, sorry. If you don't want to see it, look away. The 27 TVs that are in here. This is a bullet wound in my back. I was treated on the gynecology ward. Everyone was so booked, they didn't know what to do. I was in the hallway at one point, and a nurse goes, "You'll be okay," and like tapped the top of my head. They never x-rayed my head. It looks really awful there. But they never x-rayed my head, so I kept having issues. But I returned to duty, let's see. I returned to duty that next day. Well, my story's okay, here we go. So 6 weeks after the shooting, I go to visit my husband in Minnesota. Oh, by the way, at this point, we got married right before deployment because that's also what we like to do. We got married in Vegas, typical. And so I get to go visit him after the shooting. And I go see a civilian doctor, and I'm like, my head keeps pussing. The Army said to just keep poking at it. And she goes, "Oh, I see something shiny." And she grabs a scalpel and cuts open my head and pulls this out. So that was fun. And this was 6 weeks after the shooting. So there for a while. So sorry. This is the first time I've ever done my talk with a slideshow. So I'm working some things out right now. But so I was returned to duty the next day. I went back to North Fort Hood. So South Fort Hood and North Fort Hood are like 45 minutes apart. The base is huge. And so I go back to duty. They send me to the little BNOC to get my wound packed and unpacked every couple days so the wound heals nicely. 2 weeks after the shooting, they decide I need to lose all my wisdom teeth because I'm going to Iraq, and just in case. They like to do that too, practice. So I get all 4 of my wisdom teeth removed, and the lady that was transferring me, we started talking about the shooting, and she's like, "What, you're returned to duty? Like, no way." And then next thing I know, she pulls me and puts me in the WTU, which is the Warrior Transition Unit for Wounded Soldiers. So at this point, they're telling me I just need a few more appointments and I'll get to catch up with my unit. Well, that didn't end up happening. My unit ended up deploying. They told me I'd catch up, and then they just didn't let me go, which was very disappointing and hard for me. I stayed at Fort Hood. That happened November 9th. I stayed at Fort Hood until February. This was on Veterans Day. I don't know why I keep looking behind me. There's a screen right in front of me. Sorry. This was on Veterans Day. This is when President Obama came to Fort Hood to pay his respects. We got to meet him and Michelle Obama. There were 13 people killed that day. 32 were wounded. And really, we say 14 people died that day. The female in the top right was pregnant. So I knew 5 of these people were in my unit. This is Captain Gaffney right here. He's the one that charged the shooter with the chair and ultimately gave his life and gave me the ability to get out of the way. So So Nadal Hassan was the shooter, and he was going to deploy with my unit. So if it didn't happen in Fort Hood, he probably would have done it in Iraq. He was tracked by the FBI. They had a whole thing on him called the ticking time bomb. He was talking to our number one American-born terrorist at the time, Anwar al-Awlaki. And so he just kept, because of political correctness, he kept getting moved on from base to base, from unit to unit, and just passed the problem on to someone else. The FBI was tracking this man dressing in his Muslim garb, which is not illegal, nor is it wrong, but he was going to the shooting range and practicing. Still a good thing. He wasn't a good shot because he could have done a lot more damage in the area that we were in with the amount of people that were there, but he was an officer, so. See, that was one you could have laughed at. Sorry. See, it went serious and then. 5 years after, because of political correctness and them calling it workplace violence, we weren't afforded a lot of ways to get treatment. After February, I was returned back to my reserve duty, having PTSD now set in, having chronic daily headaches, having back spasms, just really miserable person. And I was with the combat stress unit. Like, they were psych doctors. Nadal Hassan, the man that shot me, was a psychiatrist. So it's crazy that the decompression we didn't do afterwards. I got sleeping pills and pain pills, though. Just what they like to do. But 5 years after the shooting, after a lot of persistence on military wives, my mom, there were a lot of people that petitioned, and they did award us Purple Hearts. And then Texas came up, and since Texas has their own everything, they awarded us their Purple Heart, because they have their own. When we were not afforded the Purple Hearts and we weren't getting the treatment we needed, this man stepped up. This is Ross Perot. He was an amazing, incredible man. He knew that we weren't getting help. I was suffering with these headaches every day, and Ross Perot was not having it. He'd call me all the time. He called me Curie. It's not my name, but it was fine. He flew my mom and my little brother up to Minnesota so they could go to the Mayo Clinic with me while my husband was working. And then when the Mayo Clinic didn't give him the answers he wanted, he sent me to Texas to see his own private doctor. And this is where I got to meet him in his office. This goes into his office. These are his grandchildren. They're bronze statues of his grandchildren. He has hallways just lined and lined with coins and souvenirs, like things that veterans have given them. This man is incredible and was such an advocate for veterans and military and really getting them the help. And he really helped me. So this is my family. This is Joe. God bless that man, because I'm a lot to handle. He does it very well. This is my son Eldon and Colby. They're 9 and 6. So the shooting happened in 2009, and 2012, I was pregnant with Eldon, and they had me on all these medications, and it just wasn't working out. So I have Eldon, PTSD, still in full swing, still having a really hard time, just not sleeping, hypervigilant all the time, not wanting to go out, not wanting to do anything, and I'm really a very bubbly person. Like, it's just how I am. And so I'm at the VA, right? That's what we're taught to do. Go to the VA. They're going to help you. All they're doing is shoving pills down my throat. They're masking my symptoms. No one's getting to the root of the issue. I mean, they couldn't even find a bullet in my head. So it's just not working. So I get pregnant with my second son in 2013, and I come across holistic approaches. So I start using essential oils, and I'm able to replace my medications. Please do not stop taking your medications. But I was just able to add in things and crowd out the medication. Like, I would try an herb or a tea or something for my headaches instead of taking a pill. And I was able to crowd out all my medication. I haven't taken any medication in over 7.5 years now. I do it all. And not to say it's not really hard, because there's a lot of times that it's really stressful, and sometimes those pills can just take those symptoms away for a day, but instead I have to work for it. But it's long lasting, and it's better. So I joined Wounded Warrior Project. I know some of you may have heard they have a bad rap, but Wounded Warrior Project's done nothing but amazing things for me. They got me out of the house and re-engaged with veterans when I needed to be carried, and now I'm able to help carry other veterans, so I really just live their logo. Helping veterans is my passion. So I also went through a program that's here in Kansas City. It's a 5-day PTSD program that focuses on mindfulness, meditation, yoga, clean eating, and just overall holistic healing. And that was really a pivotal moment in my healing as well, with all the other natural things I had started using. So real quick, a little bit of science for you is, so when we're exposed to trauma or high, long amounts of stress, in our brain we have our amygdala, we're going to say it's right here, and it's supposed to be, a normal amygdala is the size of almonds. When you're exposed to trauma and you're exposed to long amounts of stress, it can get up to the size of like a golf ball, sometimes even a plum. So what this does is your prefrontal cortex wraps over that. So when it's big like that and you see something, you get triggered like a lot of veterans do, your prefrontal cortex flips offline. That's where we make all our rational decisions. Like, no, I don't want to kill my husband because he didn't take the trash out. Like, it's rational, right? But when your prefrontal cortex isn't there, it seems like a logical solution. So, I'm not trying to kill anyone. Sorry, that was a bit much. But, so this is why veterans they have triggers. This is why they can't regulate, and it's in their brain. Like, it is physically different. And I think sometimes when veterans hear that and they understand that, then they can realize that it's okay to get help for it. A lot of times in the military, we're told not to go sick call your sick call ranger, or if you say you have PTSD, that ruins your career. But then we have 22 veterans committing suicide a day, and why do we think that is? It's because they're not getting the help that they need because they're too scared to do it. So I like to try to help veterans heal that holistically, which meditation is the only thing scientifically proven to reduce the size of the amygdala. And a lot of times people are like, oh, meditation, like you're the Dalai Lama. Oh, I have slides for this, sorry. Plug, yes. And it's not, it's really not when you're meditating. Like, you guys didn't know you were going to learn this today, huh? So when you meditate, all it really is quieting your mind, and when your mind starts to wander, you just bring it back. You're just like, okay, come back. And you start focus on your breathing again. Every time you do that is a repetition, and that's what helps reduce the size of your amygdala. It's all practice. Like the Dalai Lama even said he rarely got to a place where he was like, like levitating, and it's not a thing. That's hard, especially in the world we live in today with social media and the news and everything that just, we think we're relaxing, but it's just filling our brains and like making us go crazy. I've been watching too many school board meetings and my brain is crazy. Yoga, right? It doesn't have to look like this. But yoga is a way to, I do a yoga that's high intensity, really loud, lots of music, lots of moving, because it's hard for me to sit still. But after doing that type of yoga, I'm able to relax and sit still and have those quiet moments. I like to do slow yoga too. I like to do the yoga where they put you in a pose and give you a pillow, and then they're like, stay here for 5 minutes. And I'm like, I can do that. That's great. So, but I mean, just coming to a place of mindfulness is huge. There's lots of awesome resources for that. So, I think, is that my last slide? Sweet. All right, so that was a lot to throw at you guys, but now you can open it up for questions if anyone has any. Yes. That's where we were going, was Kuwait. Yeah, at first, and then I think because we were with the combat stress unit, so we were going to travel to different bases and set up the combat stress tent. Like at the hospital? I mean, and it was a mass casualty. Like, they had sent people to 3 different hospitals. Like, they just weren't equipped. And, yeah, probably neglectful maybe. I don't know. Yeah, and then another nurse washed my hair in the sink, like laid me up on the counter and washed my hair. She didn't put conditioner in it, and it was all matted with blood. John Quijones, I don't think that's how you say the name, but the guy off of 2020, he came to Fort Hood. He flew my family there, and he wanted to do an interview. And the guy's over there putting all this makeup on. I'm like, can I get some makeup? I look like a boy in uniform. Especially right after a shooting. When I got shot, I got matted blood in my hair, and he's trying to put me on the news. Yeah. So, any other questions? Yes. Thank you. I talked fast. Yes. Oh, good. We got lots of questions. I like it. Perfect. See, this is what I'm talking about. I forget to say stuff, and then people always bring it. It works full circle. So I actually had to testify against him twice. I went down to Fort Hood to do that, and that's when we learned a lot of other cool things, which leads me into another story that I'll get to your question. So my friend Dana that I was bonding with over that Jimmy Dean meal, she said when she got shot in her leg, or in her arm first, and she was paralyzed on the ground with fear, and she saw me get up and run, which is what gave her the motivation, the inspiration, I don't know what she needed, to run. She got shot in the leg. It went up through her uterus, through her fallopian tubes, into her abdomen. This woman was born with her organs on the outside of her body and put back in differently than us, which is the only reason why she survived. And now she has a 2-year-old as well, and she's a godmother to my son. She's an incredible woman. So we testify again, and the second time he fires his attorneys, he's in a wheelchair, he's paralyzed. So the shooting stops because an MP gets there, Officer Munley, she starts engaging with him. They both get shot, they're both on the ground, and their weapons both jam at the same time. Another officer, Officer Todd, arrives, and he's able to subdue Nadal Hassan. So he's paralyzed, he's in a wheelchair, he's refusing to shave, he's refusing to eat. He fired his attorneys, so we were supposed to talk to him during the second trial. And he was awarded the death penalty. The death penalty hasn't been carried out on a military base since 1961. So he's at Fort Leavenworth, just over there. I don't know which way it is, but close. So yeah, he's just hanging out. Yes. I'm not for sure, but they have a whole document called the Ticking Time Bomb. So I haven't read it in a long time, so I don't know. I can't remember if they did, but I know he also gave PowerPoints and things to his unit, and they just kept passing him off to. It's political correctness. No one wants to say anything. Yeah, it's a long one. Yes. I believe they did make other measures, and they had trainings, and then the base also did some anti-terrorism training that they made videos of. I had to take it before I got out because I stayed in for 4 years after the shooting, and I had to take it, and I'm doing this test, and a slide pops up, and it's me waiting for the ambulance on the sidewalk, part of the training. So, yes. I live in Baldwin City, Kansas. Yeah, so not far from here. Yes. So Ross Perot is the one that actually did that. The military didn't even do that. He did. They had already removed a piece of the metal, and they said there were some more in there, like they were just going to work their way out. Maybe it's out by now. I don't really know. I don't know. They're not bothering me. I had chronic daily headaches for a long time, but after I cut out a lot of toxins and just crap out of our house, it seemed to help. So, yeah. Any other questions? Yes. Mhm. Yep, I was having back spasms. Yeah. Yeah, they gave me Percocets. I did trigger point injections. I did occipital nerve blocks with giant needles. They did things. It was strange. They sent me to an acupuncturist, and I told him the story briefly of what happened. He's like, "Wow, you would have been better off dead." I was like, "What do you mean? I'm here in your office. Like, why would I be better off dead? Like, it wasn't that bad. I'm alive." People are weird. No, they said it would be more damage to go exploring. So, yeah, I don't think there is. I don't think it penetrated the skull. It was soft in the soft tissue of my head. So. Oh yeah, I like to usually sit where I can see a door, and there's a lot of things that have just become part of my habit now that I just do and don't even really realize that it's because I'm hypervigilant or because of my PTSD. And I can still be an asshole too. I mean, I know I look really nice, but you can ask my husband. I am not all the time, and I get super irritated with my kids, and like I cried on the way here. Like the world we live in right now is rough, and when you're raising kids in this world and trying to figure out what's best and do what's best for your mental health, it's a lot. And I just feel like social media and the news and all that just clogs it up even more. So if you learn anything, just turn it off for a night. I delete Facebook and Instagram on my phone like every other day. Yes. I don't know. I don't know the answer for that. I know that I have PTSD from my childhood as well, so I've kind of just had it for a long time. I feel like also a lot of veterans that joined the military had some sort of trauma in their childhood. A lot of the veterans I've talked to have. They go into these positions to want to help people, to give back, to do something, be a bigger, better person. So I know that's pretty common. Then we're already conditioned for PTSD and it doesn't hurt as bad maybe. But I think I don't know. I think you can manage the symptoms, but I think sometimes, I don't know. I don't really know the answer to that. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. It's a real thing, sure. So I mean, yeah, just Wounded Warrior Project and then just being around veterans and just helping veterans, telling my story helped me a ton. I think I processed it a lot, talking about it. But I don't know, I think like that bubbly personality, like these goofy photos of me where I'm just like, hey, we got to be in the Army anyways. Well, I had to. I'm like, so why not be happy and fun and like having a best time? Why not? Why can't we be fun? People are all miserable and they're like, I have to be here. And I'm like, yeah, we have to. So just be happy about it. Like, why live your life miserably? Yes.
I want to thank you for being vulnerable, sharing your experience. I never like to be open like this and talk about something like
Thank you.
somebody, right?
Yeah, anytime. Let's go do yoga. It's my favorite thing. We can all do it. Yes. Like my autograph? I got them all. I got all the words. Yeah, find me afterwards. So real quick, I knew we do have a lot of veterans in the room. So that 5-day PTSD, like hippie woo-woo stuff, I'm telling you guys, this stuff works, and it's amazing. There's a male cohort there right now. My best friend's there, and they have a little graduation tomorrow. I'm so excited to go see him. But it's a free 5-day PTSD program. It's in Parkville. You stay there for free. They feed you good paleo food, and it's really incredible. You learn a lot, and it's impactful. And then you make new friends that really can help you and know what you're going through. It's called The Battle Within. I mentor for the females that go through, and then I go and help at the males too. I go help take pictures. I'm going to go take pictures tomorrow. So, yeah. Nice. Yeah, there are openings. You guys apply, and they will contact you. Any other questions? Yes. Right? And Aaron joined the Army way before me, so I was just like, this is my cool, badass. Sorry. He joined the Marines way before me. And he was like just this badass guy that was out doing badass shit. So, no. Aaron's awesome. I love him.
He likes the red crayon best.
He likes all of them, right? Awesome. Yes.
Has that ever been changed from the officially said it would replace violence and not terrorist acts?
I should have looked up on that before I came to speak. So they did award us the Purple Hearts, and so they had to petition and change that because to be awarded a Purple Heart, it has to be on domestic or foreign soil, right? So I don't know if they officially changed it. You know, the government never really wants to say they had a terrorist attack on a military base when they were in service. So, yes. Yes, for sure. Yes.
I don't know if I shared with you the sidebar. Bill White was a surgeon at George White, and your shooter was medevac there.
Mm-hmm.
And although you didn't get a lot of empathy on the base at the hospital there, when the shooter showed up at George White, Bill was a Marine, prior to medical school. Found out the story of the guy on the table, and he had all the circulating nurses and the other surgeon all go to the break room for 30 minutes. And he said, if he's still alive after our break, we'll go ahead and, take the bullet out of his spine. And they took the full 30 minutes. Now I heard he's not doing well at Leavenworth at all.
Really?
So, suicide.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. That was actually way harder than I thought it was going to be. And then, gosh, it was mostly hard on my mom, which then made it really hard on me. 'Cause my mom went, and then now she has secondary PTSD because she listened about the shooting the whole time. So that was really hard. But I'm not for sure how many. I think all 32 of the wounded testified against him, and then there were civilian nurses in the room. There were a lot of people that didn't get shot because, again, he was an officer, wasn't a very good shooter. But so there was a lot of people to testify against him. A lot of people knew him. There was another man, I wish I had a picture of him with me, Alonzo Lungsford. He was shot like 6 times. The man is 6'9". He is incredible, and he's done amazing things, and he tried to charge his shooter too. But so we've been then meeting a lot of people, and afterwards they had a 1-year anniversary where they did a run, and like the rapper Nas came, and Puddle of Mud, and they had like a concert. And then going to both trials, we've become good friends with a lot of the people over that, and then the families of the deceased as well. So. You're going to ask that. I was waiting for it. It was not. George Bush drove up, right? He drove up. So President Obama came on Veterans Day and introduced himself to us, went and saw some of the people in the hospital. And then when I was awarded my Purple Heart, President Obama was in Texas at the time. I can't remember where he was at that first one. But the second time when Texas awarded the Purple Heart, he was at a music festival down in Austin. He didn't come to that one either. So, yes. Not to be political. Yes. Yeah, they just sat me in the hallway for a while and I just waited my turn. Yes. So there are still some that are in, and I talk to them on Facebook mostly. I've tried to get them to come to some veterans events here in Kansas City. A lot of them live out in Topeka, the unit's in Topeka. I talk to a lot of the wounded, though, still. We've become a little bit closer than I was with my unit. My unit actually kind of treated me like crap after the shooting. There was a lot of resentment there, especially when that guy brought in, he brought my family to Fort Hood, but he brought a news crew, too. And I'm like, I don't care what I got to do. I want to see my mom and my husband. I'm like, I just got shot. Let me hug my family. So I did some news interviews, and I just really wanted to take the focus off the shooter and talk about how we used our combat lifesaver skills that we had just learned a few months before and really shed light on that. And I don't know, my unit kind of resented me for that. So that was unfortunate. I actually ended up switching units to Minnesota. I was in the rear detachment while they were deployed, and then I moved to Minnesota to a unit up there. And they were great for a while, but the Army just really wasn't great. They weren't treating me well. I was having all these issues. I was at the WTU at Fort Riley for a little bit, and that was actually really fun there. Just a lot of appointments and a lot of not answers. And then in 2013, I had been med boarding for 2 years at this point, and they ended up giving me a medical retirement. They asked me if I wanted a medical retirement, 23 years old. I have a baby that's coming to drill with me because I couldn't pump milk and he needed milk. So they let me bring him to drill, which was awesome. He wore his little Army uniform. It was outrageous. But so I was like, yeah, I guess I'll take a retirement. And then I got switched to another unit, and they promoted me to sergeant. And then it was the best unit. And I was like, wait, I want to stay. The Army is good. I love it. And they're like, no, you're out of here. It's too late. So I had to leave. So now I just volunteer with veterans organizations. I do these speaking gigs to try to hopefully help people. Fish, amazing. I like to do that softball thing. Hopefully we can do that again. That was fun. So, yeah.
Someone that works in the mental health field, I remember the news at the time, of course, the discussion was a psychiatrist. Not only a psychiatrist, but it makes me think of how many guys went to him for treatment, and he's sitting there, jihad thinking, I hate you, and you're talking about stuff happening. And
Yeah.
not only did they not get help, how
Mm-hmm.
many of them were?
Right. Hopefully they went back and looked at his caseload. I didn't even really actually think about that. Yeah. Yes. I don't believe so. Not that I've heard. He's got appeals that are going on. I get an email every once in a while from a colonel down in Fort Hood who would tell me about what's going on with his appeals. He was trying to appeal. See, my memory's not very good. That could be part of the TBI or the PTSD or ADHD. I don't know. All those things. But there was an email sent to me recently, and he was disputing something really strange in it. And so they have to, I don't know, it's just silly. Appeals and appeals and appeals. I just don't think about it, I guess. I don't really care. If he can just stay there, it'd probably be good if he would die so we don't have to keep wasting money. But I don't wish ill will on anyone. Like, what does that say about me if I wish him any ill will? Sucks what he did, but being mad at him doesn't hurt him, just hurts myself. So, any other questions? Thank you. What do you want to do with this? You gonna do?
Thank you so much, Keara, for sharing your story. That means a lot to all of us. I know it's therapeutic to you as well. Obviously, we don't compensate our speakers. Fish does not give them anything, prizes, monetary value. But something we like to do at American Legion is we like to give you a membership, free membership to the American Legion. So welcome to the American Legion family. We're so happy to have you.
One thing I wanted to talk about real quick, I know a lot of it's been
Hey, quit, Max. It's okay.
a lot of stuff we've been seeing in the news lately. It's been hard for a lot of us to digest. Do we have any other Afghanistan veterans in the room today? If you would stand up. I know it's been tough on a lot of us recently. I've had a lot of mixed emotions with the current events. I've been angry, I've been sad, I've been straight pissed off. It's brought a lot of thought in my mind. We lost 2,448 of America's finest over in that country over 20 years. I know very, very closely how close I could have been to being 2,449. It's been a lot of mixed emotions, but been thinking about a guy we lost from my unit. If you've seen on my Facebook, I posted his picture up there just to remember him. It's been a rough go. I know it's been tough on a lot of guys. I worry about a lot of Afghanistan veterans. You know, going through this, going through the stress, it brings back a lot of it. But I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you guys, what we did over there. We accomplished our mission. I said many times as soon as I came back, this was going to be our generation's Vietnam. I didn't see a good ending coming to it. But we just have to remember what we did over there. We accomplished our mission, and we didn't let anybody down. We all know the recent events. We don't agree how it ended, but just want to let you guys know that you guys do matter. And if you guys ever need to talk about anything, I'm always around. And just want to thank you all. Thomas, Darren, everybody, appreciate you all. And I just want to let you know that don't be down on it, that you guys do matter, and our mission was accomplished. So just want to thank you all one more time. And now DJ Doc Putzka.
I've made it a habit not to talk about politics because I usually end up pissing everybody off. But I think at these times, if I offend you at all, I think our country's feelings come above yours. Okay, and I have cleaned up, but I have just to bear with me just for a couple of thoughts. It was the boots, not the suits, that served with honor, duty, and sacrifice for the past 20 years in the sandbox. It was the boots that fought Al-Qaeda and terrorism in Afghanistan, not the suits. But the suits, not the boots, are responsible for the debacle of the exit strategy out of Afghan today. I spent 20 minutes on the phone with Oliver North. In 20 minutes, he told me what they can do today. 5 things to fix it. Nobody's listening. And it's the suits, not the boots, who've dishonored our country in the eyes of the world, in my opinion. I'd like to take a minute now to honor the Marine soldiers, airmen and sailors, not just in Afghanistan, but everywhere. God bless them. And God bless America. That's all I got to say.
Look, I believe I'm Chaplain Sony, and can you hear me? I'm with Fish, and you know, it's really a very unique time in the history of our country. And in closing, you know, everything that needs to be said is said for this time. But every one of you have some very, very deep convictions, and you have to wrestle with those convictions. And you have to make some decisions in your heart because it's your conscience that you're working on right now. And remember when you're a little kid and teacher would say, keep your conscience clear if you want to do good in school. That's when you're a little kid. They don't say it when you're older. But it's one of those things that as we end this tonight, there are some very hard things that everyone is wrestling with. And I can't encourage you enough because Paul Chappa, even though he's not here right now, he says the secret sauce is that guy about this organization. It's God. Now, wherever you stand with God, that's between you and God. That's not between you and anybody else. But it's one of those things that when you struggle and you don't have the right words, give God another chance. Talk to him, okay? And go to him where you are because he speaks your language. You may not be able to speak his, and nobody else may be able to understand your prayers, but God does. So give him a chance and talk with him. Now we got another thing happening real quick here, and we still got yeah. Yeah, everybody got your tickets here because they were giving out. We're doing the veterans that are out there. You have a little red ticket. If you don't have one, raise your hand. We'll get one to you right now.